Alright, so the game has started already, so let's go ahead. Sorry for those other questions, we'll try to answer them later on if ever we do have a pause. You'll just have to stay tuned right now. Again, of course, Watch and Win will be appearing sometime soon, just stay tuned for that as well. And let's take a look at what's happening here in Summoner's Rift. Of course, Pacific, VYY, and 5283 are roaming. They do get spotted by a ward from Team Wargods in the Tri-Bush. It looks like there will be an invade coming from Team Pacific. You can see all the members of Pacific are rotating down to the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, and I think early invade would work out for Pacific right now because of how strong they are early. But then again, it's definitely a huge risk because you have to get back to lane. And if you lose, again, level 2 is so crucial, especially in competitive play, because if you don't get level 2 before your opponent does, you can just engage with 2 extra abilities. So, I mean, it's just really a dangerous situation to go invade.
Yes. Right, for those who are asking where GG Spear is, it's actually right here in my heart right now. Oh no, just kidding. He's actually in the other side of the office right now. He's attending to some other matters at the moment. And Team Pacific, of course, are trying to rotate, try to invade out definitely the blue buff here, and this probably will be a blue buff steal from Team Pacific. And right now, Team Wargods are actually going for their own red buff, so I'm surprised that they're not trying to steal the blue buff. This will be actually a very difficult start for Wargods Trevor on the lead. The blue buff can be quite crucial for her to make bigger plays in the start of the game.
Yeah, but again, they were spotted by Sarah, then I'm surprised they didn't actually go for the counter invade. That's a very odd decision to make, but I guess they just want to play this one a bit safe, especially because of how dangerous Pacific does become when it comes to early game with Big 2 and happen in the game. Wow, early gank by Gragas though, almost gets a kill on the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and igniting, taking down Ochi. Ochi should be quite safe from dying this time around. Honestly, I think he should actually go back to base because if one skill lands on him, especially Dark Binding from Morgana, it would be an easy kill for Lucian here.
Yeah, and especially because of how squishy Kog'Maw is.
Oh, a stun from JLC. You can see JLC really hurting Shotty a lot here with this basic attack. And first blood! Wow, those JLC mechanics really unmatched right now.
Great kiting from JLC there. He didn't give up on that play, he just kept going, and he knew that there was such a far distance between Lulu and the turret, so he just decided that he would be able to just kite that in, and just get the kill. Great play.
And not to mention also the minions were quite far also from JLC, so he didn't really take any return damage from those minions. There you go, Dark Binding finally lands onto Ochi. I think Ochi might probably go down to this. And yes, a nice follow-up. And let's see if Poishan, yes, Poishan actually flashed in just for the kill here. The assist will go to Kog'Maw still though. 5283 and Poishan go in a 1-on-1 duel, a stun. Poishan really trying to fight out this 5283, but I don't think it's a good idea since the minions are going to probably take out the life of Poishan. Poishan will probably go down to this.
And again, a bad decision by Poishan there. I mean, when you go that far deep into enemy territory, the problem there becomes that the minions will just chase you down and aggro you. And that minion aggro just does more damage than you really expected to.
Yeah, and Hongchu just burning out his ghost to escape the Wrath of Cannon here. Without a ghost, like I said, Ghost and Flash are very important in TF to escape those kind of things. And with the mobility coming from a lot of champions now, TF really struggles in terms of mobility. And Ghost and Flash really help him a lot.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, what is more mobile really than TF's ultimate in the game? I mean, again, after level 6, TF just has so much presence, just roams better than most champions really. So he just really has to wait after the level 6.
Yeah, stronger, taking a lot of chunking out the life of Misery there on the Gragas in the mid lane. So Gragas will go back to the base or probably farm a few minutes before going back to base. VYY has to be a little bit careful. 5283 will be joining him now. And I have to mention also, I'd like to mention that 5283 did a really good job with the Dark Binding, landing it quite well, coming off to his camp.
Yeah, again, 5283 just great mechanics for support. And here we go again. Cannon, hiding it out. Almost gets a kill on Lulu, unfortunately doesn't get it. But again, Cannon just said when you build AD Cannon, which apparently he has, as seen by the Doran's blade that Cannon picked up, if you're able to use Cannon and kite properly with him, you can just deal so much damage, especially from a distance. Cannon's just so powerful with that poking power.
And you can hear Poishan being very aggressive in the bottom lane against VYY and 5283 with the protection coming from Morgana. He does prevent a lot of the damage of Leona when he was diving in, and with the dash of Lucian, he was able to dash quite safely from any return damage from Ochi.
I'm actually surprised that Pacific hasn't gone for a really hard engage yet. I mean, when you hit the Dark Binding, it really allows you to just go in straight for that really hard engage. Because after the Dark Binding, it's just an E, auto from Lucian, and then a Q, and you just chunk so much damage from Kog'Maw, so I'm really surprised they haven't done that more aggressive yet.
Alright, so you can see here that The Morgana and VYY kind of have the upper hand right now in the bottom lane, really pushing the members of Wargods back in the bottom lane. Looking at the top lane, JLC of course has one kill over Shotty here. Shotty has to be a little bit careful, but he does have Mystery sneaking up in the bushes in the top lane. Probably gonna try to make some plays here, and definitely it'll be very hard for JLC to escape without his flash up right now.
Yeah, and the problem is if your flash is not up, that really allows your enemy jungler to just come in and gank. If you go in for those ganks again, you can't escape as well.
Alright, looks like Pacific deciding not to continue the chase onto Cannon there on JLC, but I'm pretty sure once Mystery hits level 6, his gank there in the top lane will be a lot more effective.
And right now, Kog'Maw is just getting free farm. And that's what Kog'Maw really needs to do. He needs to get as much farm as he can, especially early on, because when it gets to the mid game, if you have your Triforce, that's just a huge fire flex for Kog'Maw. So after the Triforce, Kog'Maw is just so powerful, especially in teamfights where he stays at the back. That ridiculous range really allows him to just poke out a lot of opposing team members.
Yeah, here stronger on that Seraph. Again, first time Seraph in the mid lane for the PGS. We haven't seen any Seraph action just yet. Look at that poke damage. Hongchu actually taking a lot of damage from Seraph. Ooh, his HP going down to less than 200 HP there. Has to be very careful if ever Wargods stronger lands his ultimate. And looks like Mystery is there to provide some damage protection here. A stun landed the Mystery, a double stun. Let's see if the Cocoon will land. No, kill picked up by Trevor.
Really gain awareness there by Trevor, so able to pick up that kill. But right now, this is a really good move by Pacific, pushing Kog'Maw and Leona to their turret.
And a nice Cocoon landing from Trevor, picking up another kill, this time on Hongchu on the Twisted Fate. So Hongchu in a bad position, they're teleporting back, gets spotted by the Elite, giving him a free kill basically.
Yeah, and Hongchu is going for this double door entry, so I'm hoping that he's actually going to try to use it to poke more often, because if you have that double Doran string, suddenly your Q as Twisted Fate just does so much more damage. So I guess that double Doran string will really help him really well today.
Yeah, Dark Binding not connecting this time around. Mystery in a little bit of bad position here. Of course, the ultimate of Twisted Fate gives him clear vision of where he went, and basically no escape for him this time around.
Yeah, really good awareness there by TF, knowing that he has to use his ult to be able to secure that kill. I actually don't think that it really was needed. I think that Hongju could have just stayed in lane and they would have been able to secure that kill anyway, but still, Twisted Fate, I guess, just really wanted to secure that kill, and that really allowed Pacific to make sure that WG couldn't escape.
Yeah, including the blue buff, of course. He actually did get the blue buff for himself this time around. Didn't want any smite steals coming from Elise. And with that Elise down, definitely it was an easy blue buff for them.
Yeah, and right now, I think that this Cannon is looking to build a static shiv. Again, you already have the Zeal. So Cannon, again, we see how effective DLC can be when you allow him to split push. So this Cannon with a static shiv will just be able to clear waves so much better. And if you allow Cannon to split push, I mean, it's going to be really dangerous because WG is just so comfortable with allowing DLC to split push. They already know that strategy. I mean, it's a tried and proven strategy for WG. So if Pacific allows that to happen, they're just gonna have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start picking up Cannon in the top lane once again after seeing how GSC is used to Cannon. I feel like his damage reduction, they actually nerfed him way back. That's the reason why Cannon wasn't used that much anymore. But looking at the potential with Cannon with the new items, probably might be able to give him some power spikes once again.
Yeah, but right now Cannon though, I think that he's actually in a sweet spot right now where he's underplayed. But at the same time, the thing with Riot is they only nerf champions that are played massively. So if you're not being played competitively, then Riot probably doesn't nerf it. The thing is, Riot balances the game based on how played you are competitively. So, for example, Ashe is underpowered right now, but they won't buff her because she's not seeing much competitive play.
Alright, 5-8 getting stunned here by Stronger. Kog'Maw joining the party here, 4 versus 3 here. But it's the ultimate. Ooh, 1 HP there, and finally Ochi picks up the kill onto 5-8C. Mystery and Hongxue decide to back away there. And it looks like Wargods will pick up the first Dragon of the game. And with that, we'll probably see some watch and win codes appearing quite shortly.
Get ready to out-tap, guys. But WG picking up that Dragon is actually really critical for them because you can see right now that WG has a 1k gold lead. And they picked up their first tower. So securing this objective really allows them to get that much more items. And those items will really allow them to engage more often later on, especially because of how especially because of how strong they are mid to late game. And you want to make sure that you can counter, but how strong this early game.
Yeah, 5-2-8-3. Actually, sorry, BYY actually avoiding quite well those skill shots, almost going down here. Trevor in a bad position once again. What are you doing? He gets caught by the members of Pacific and gets easily bursted down. Very, very bad movements coming from Trevor there. Not even playing safe there. Just standing like a boss. They're trying to kill the word, gets punished for it.
That was such a bad decision though, because you know they're coming for you. Even though you're in the bush, you know since you're breaking their wards that they have vision. So why stay there when you know 3 men are coming after you?
Alright, so Wargods right now trying to defend the bottom third. There's actually 4 men, actually 3 only. One of the members are Mystery deciding to back away already. Pacific BYY might be able to take out the third with this wave. Oh, I think it might still survive. No, he picks up the tower.
Yeah, Pacific right now is just doing their best to siege towers to take advantage of how strong they are early. So when you're able to siege this tower right now, it really allows bot lane to push further. And this really prevents WG from chasing farming.
Alright, so first blue buff for Team Wargods. Most likely Stronger will pick up the blue buff for himself. Of course, Trevor will tank out that blue buff for him. Yes, blue buff goes over to Stronger. So that will definitely help Stronger spam his ultimate and the other skills more often.
And right now, actually what we're seeing is that Kennen right now is doing really well. He already has a static shift, so we're probably going to see a lot of fast wave clears from this Kennen. So we're yet to see though if they're going to still do the same strategy that they usually do, wherein they have the Kennen split push. I think that would be a very effective strategy again for WG, but we'll just have to wait and see what they decide to do with this split push, with this very fast wave clear.
Alright, so for those who haven't won any IP boosts, don't worry, we'll still be showing out more of those later on. Just stay tuned for that. Of course, you can see your boy Sanity clearing out his ward. One of his famous highlights in the GPL, clearing out wards in the base of the opponent. So maybe we might see a new highlight for him this time around.
Yeah, and for those of you who really do want an IP boost, you can also of course use the GameX E-pins and get the Garena shells and buy a IP boost that way if you really are desperate for them. And again, they're just so helpful. So if you can't win the watch and win for the IP boost, you can also just buy them yourselves with Garena shells.
Ooh, Shotty almost getting stunned there. One more charge. Let's see if JCD will be able to stun him. Ooh, a flash even used. Oh, ultimate being burned by Shotty. I don't think JCD should continue to chase. Chase is really too deep already. But finally he decides to back away. Trevor is right behind him. He's trying to basically bait Lulu into that fight, but the blue buff is there. Oh, Trevor might be in some trouble here. Let's see Pacific. Oh, here comes the Destiny and Gate coming from CF. He will get caught here. A nice movement from Trevor this time around. Very excellent play.
Very smart by Trevor there to try and go away from TF, because he knows that TF has that yellow card, and if he gets stunned, that's it. He's dead. So really smart play there, using the rappel to go up and just flash away from TF.
Yeah, that's definitely a highlight move for Trevor on that at least.
And WG right now is counter pushing, really smart play by them, and I don't think this Lucian should just go ahead and try to outtrade this Kog'Maw. Because this Kog'Maw right now is, even though Lucian is 3-1-0, this Kog'Maw already has his phase. That means he's already tankier, and he has his double Dorrance as well as his sheath. So I think that Kog'Maw is tankier and can probably deal with trades much better than he would early game. So really there's no reason to try and engage that.
And not to mention, Kog'Maw has some armor and magic shred. If he lands that on Lucian, definitely he'll win the trade there.
Yeah, and going into the support battle, I think that when the Morgana picks up this lucidity, I think that just really allows her to use her Dark Bindings more often. And Morgana will really be a key in team fights, because if you can hit that Dark Binding, that's such a good big boost to your team. Because suddenly it becomes again a 5v4. So if you can hit those Dark Bindings, that really makes your team so much stronger in team fights.
Alright, Poisanti landing his ultimate for Shotty. I don't think Shotty will be able to get away from this. I believe the ultimate is still down, but it's almost up. Let's see if, oh, there, finally comes up just in time to save him. So good job coming from Shotty, escaping the 2 members of Wargods. Now Misery joining the rest of the team. Poisanti in a very bad position. Gold card landing onto Poisanti. I think he probably will go down to this. Another card coming from Hongchu. Another Sun again. Poisanti will go down, this time to Pacific Misery.
Again, such a good yellow card there by Hongju. You see, without that yellow card, they would not be able to secure that kill. That really is how important TF is because of his global presence. When you're able to rotate that quickly, from bot to top to mid, really, you're able to just hit those yellow cards and suddenly you're able to secure a kill for your team.
Alright, 3 members of Pacific here in the top lane. They're trying to push the top third in response to the third pushed down by JLC a while ago. They're using his ultimate, forcing Shotty all the way back, but Pacific Mystery still sticking around. They have to be careful. They're not aware that the Morgana is in that bush. They don't have any vision. You can see here Ochi trying to take down BY, gets stunned by Hongchu, and the burst damage coming from BY. Even uses the heal here, a flash here. He doesn't have vision for BYY, and BYY picks up the kill thanks to Hongchu.
Yeah, again, that was a bad decision by... Well, that was a really bad decision by WG there, because Kog'Maw was trying to chase down that kill and he couldn't, especially when he saw TF just teleporting there. I think that Kog'Maw just had that opportunity to just try and back away from that. Uses Void Ooze, he has uses slow to try and get away from TF slowly. And if he was able to do that, I think he would have been able to out-kite TF and Lucian and be able to just escape from that safely. But instead he was trying to go for that Lucian kill, trying to secure that Lucian kill, and instead he just died there. So that was a bad decision.
Alright, second dragon of the game. Looks like Wargods will take this. Pacific will try to contest it, but they don't pick it up. The Smite, of course, still wins this time around. Alright, so second dragon of the game goes again to Team Wargods. A great pickup for them. You can see with the... Actually, I think it's really those dragons that are giving them that gold lead. Stronger getting caught by the ultimate of Mystery, pushing him forward to Team Pacific. Stronger trying to run away from the Pacific. Ultimate is being burned once again. A lot of ultimates being burnt there just to pick up there, but I think it was worth it since not only did they pick up a kill, but now they're 5-man strong pushing down the mid lane.
Again, that was very important for Pacific to really secure that kill, because securing that kill prevented Zed from really defending that turret, and now they took 2 turrets in exchange for, and 2 turrets and a kill in exchange for burning their ultimate, so definitely a lot of worth there for Pacific.
Yeah, Wargods was able to respond with 1 tower down in the bottom lane, but definitely it's not worth the trade. As you can see, the gold is now pretty much even with those trades coming from Team Pacific and Wargods.
Now, what's more important to take bottom inhibitor compared to middle or top inhibitor? It's still more important to get the middle turrets, because the middle turrets really allow you to just travel much more efficiently. Because if you take out that middle turrets, that's where most of the fights happen. Really, it happens mostly in mid because of how people crop up there. So if you take out those turrets, it's so critical because now the turrets can't damage you while you're having a team fight in mid. So I think that was a good trade by Pacific.
Now you see here, Wargods are trying to chase BYY here. Not, I think, the easiest. Ooh, then they still landing. BYY getting caught by the stun. Ultimate of Serath not landing. A nice dark back shield coming onto BYY, but finally Serath picks up the kill onto. Alright, Lee tries to catch somebody with a spoon there, but doesn't land on the 2 members of Pacific. They're finally landing on JC. A nice body slam knocking off 3 members of Team Wargods. JC so far behind now. We'll have to get escape here. You can see here, Kenna gets killed by Hongchu this time around, and 5-8 also picking up a nice gateway coming, landing the gold card to Oshi. Oshi gets decimated by Shotty this time around.
Great team by Pacific, but I'd like to just point out that TF just had that mechanical mistake early on, because he actually pulled out a red card instead of a yellow card when he was chasing down the lead. So really, if he was able to pick out that yellow card, that wouldn't happen. He would have just given the lead right there a while ago. So.
Wow, nice play coming from Trevor there, avoiding the gold card of Hongchu and going in for a double kill, 2v1 there. That was a really great play coming from Trevor once again.
You haven't seen Trevor? He's just so familiar with the kit of Elise. He knows when to repel and what time to repel, and he's really able to use this and mechanically outplay his opponent. So really good play by Trevor.
Alright, so right now actually Pacific still does have the lead in terms of kill once again. 13-9 right now. Wargods Trevor, of course, will have to did have some good plays so far. He had 2 good plays and 1 misplay in his favor. Being a little bit careless, so as long as he can avoid those careless plays, they should have a good chance of getting back into this game.
Yeah, and I think right now what they have to do is just that Pacific has to secure team fights, and if they go into a team fight, they have to hard engage right away. Because Morgana, again, if Morgana is able to hit 1 Dark Binding, Pacific can definitely win a team fight. They're up in kills right now, and they're up like 1k in gold. So I don't think that they can run away with this just in terms of pure power and pure gold lead, because they don't have much of one. But if they're able to hit 1 Dark Binding by Morgana, that should really allow them to secure a team fight just because of how strong they are as team fighters. You have the Lulu, you have the TF with his yellow cards, and you have the Gragas. So I think they should try to look for a team fight here.
Alright, so BYY finally picking up his red buff. This tower in the top lane will finally go down as well. Pacific picking up 2 objectives here. Gold lead is still quite even, so it's pretty much an even game more or less for both teams. So we'll have to see how the team fights turn out as the game progresses. So far, the Serath has been doing not so bad. not as dominating as you would have expected it to be, especially being an unknown champion pick here. But we'll have to see as the other team fights play out.
And again, Serad though, Serad is able to effectively poke the opposing team, and that's all you need from Serad really. And he's able to also secure these damages with his ultimate. So again, Serad's not doing
wow. Ultimate of Morgana landing on the 3 members gets the stun there. They do have a 1-for-1 trade at the end of the day though, but could have been much worse if those other skills didn't land.
But again though, Pacific though, with their support is able to make them those plays. So you have 5-2-8 able to secure that soul shackles, and it really allows them to just hard engage on everybody, and it really allows them to pick up that team fight, so great play.
Yeah, Poisanti getting caught by the gold guard, and it's forced to flash away just to survive all that knockup or crowd control coming from Team Pacific. So Pacific do have control of the Baron right now. They have all the vision they need. They have a pink ward in the Baron, and they have some wards surrounding the Baron pit area. They may opt to do a Baron sometime soon here. Although it's only 21 minutes in the game, it's still quite early. Still a lot of action to happen in this game.
And I don't think they should go for Dragon quite yet, because they just don't have enough vision control of that area. I mean, the worst thing that could happen in Baron is that the opposing team could be behind Baron, flash in, smite, steal the Baron, and then clean you up. I mean, that's the worst possible thing. I've seen a lot of teams throw in Baron, so they want to make sure that they have very secure vision control of Baron first before they even attempt it.
Rashadi clearing up the top lane once again. Will recall back to base. He already does have his items probably for Zoni's Hourglass. All he needs now is the large rod and of course the recipe. He hasn't been that effective so far in this game. 2-1-7. He kind of got shot down by JLC in the top lane, but he isn't doing so bad for himself so far.
And definitely not bad at all. I mean, even in terms of CS, he's quite similar to Kennen as well. I mean, from 1-5-3 to 1-5-2. So Lulu, especially when it comes to team fights, she doesn't have to get too many kills really. Lulu's not the type of champion that really needs a lot of kills to be functional and be very effective in team fights. All she needs is utility. And as long as she hits her ult at the right time and hits her CC, I mean, it's gonna be really good.
Almost everything being thrown at the 5-2-8. I don't understand why they're focusing on the Morgana. And you can see here Poisanti in the middle of things, unable to do anything, getting chain CC'd by the members of Team Pacific here. Team Wargods are in somewhat a weird position here. JLC receiving a lot of damage from the ultimate of and an ignite burning down JLC's HP there.
And that was a really big mistake by Leona there, because Leona didn't need to hard engage that, because when she hard engaged that, none of her teammates really followed her. So when you do things like that, you just get caught out in the focus fire of the opposing team. So Pacific was really able to just burn down Leona and just shred her right there.
Alright, now Trevor trying to take out the dragon. There is a ward in the pit, so they are aware of this shot. He's taking a lot of damage from the Serad. BYY will probably attempt to steal the TC here. They're forcing the members of Wargods away. Oh! Here comes TF and Misery here. But Trevor finally picking up the kill and will pick up a kill onto Hogtru. Longer picking up another kill. A nice turnaround for Team Wargods. I really thought the Pacific was gonna win that fight, but somehow Wargods was able to respond just in time to win that fight.
A bit of an odd ult there burnt by TF. I mean, he just ulted in a really short distance. Plus he wasn't able to use his yellow card either, so I thought it was like a really odd choice for TF.
Yeah, JLC actually stunning the Misery there on that Gragas, and of course does get slowed down by 5-2-18 with his item there, but not enough to pick up a kill onto JLC. So Wargods will recall back to base. They do put a ward outside just for safety, and they will be able to get back to base quite safely as well.
A really good turnout by Wargods in that team fight, because not only did they get more kills than Pacific, but they're also able to secure the dragon, which ultimately is really good because it gives a huge gold boost to the rest of their team. So that really allows them to recall right now, finish some of their items, and just look for another team fight and potentially win, because they've already actually taken out the gold lead of Pacific that Pacific had a while ago. Pacific had like a 1k gold lead a while ago. Now Wargods has 600 gold lead, so really good turnaround by Wargods.
Yeah, and Trevor's actually doing very good on that release compared to his releases in the previous games. I think that he's much more efficient on the release so far this game. Of course, he did play a little bit carelessly, but other than that, his other plays were quite good for him.
Yeah, I think that he's a little bit more comfortable with that release because of the repels. I mean, with Lee Sin, you see him botch some of his mechanics, right? But with Elise, suddenly his mechanics is on point. So I just think he's more comfortable with that. That really shows.
Yeah, hard to engage onto Poisanti there. Poisanti landing several stuns here, but the rest of the Team Pacific are right behind him. They're finally able to pick up 2 kills, 3 kills now. Wargods are in trouble here. They weren't able to pick up any return kills, so now 5v2 here in the top lane. Shotty tried to stay down Stronger here. Stronger has to be careful, not getting caught by Mystery's body slam. Could spell death for him, and he actually body slams away to avoid the stun of Stronger there on that Sarah.
And that was a really good play by Pacific here, and I actually think that they're going to try and siege a tower. And that's what they should do actually. They should try to clear some wards around Baron, make sure that nobody else has vision of it, so that they can secure potentially Baron later on. But what they want to do is steal this buff and just go ahead and siege the tower. That's what they want to do, especially because they just won that team fight.
Ooh, a failed dash from VYY there on that Lucian there. Not yet planning to go for the Baron buff, so Wargods won't have to worry about it. They don't have any vision here. You can see here, Shanty trying to be very careful about placing those wards in the Baron pit. He finally lays down that ward and see that no one is there, so still a lot of time for Wargods to recover from that unfortunate team fight.
And that was a really odd dash by Lucian there. I mean, you usually don't see VYY miss most of his mechanics. I mean, he's usually been on point when it comes to his mechanics, but I thought it was really uncharacteristic that he missed that dash.
Right, 5-2-8-3 again, warding down the Baron pit, clears out a ward, the ward rather of Team Wargods. And Stronger picks up his own blue buff here. You can see here that the members or Pacific are pinging in the minimap right now, signaling for a Baron or at least a Baron bait to force Wargods to engage them.
I actually think that they're actually going to look to get a straight Baron right now. They're just trying to secure vision control, and you see that most teams in preparation for Baron, what they do is they try to ward around the area. But it becomes really difficult when both teams want to secure Baron, because then you're going to have a ward fight, and you're going to have a fight over vision control. So it's very critical right now that each team makes sure that they have enough sweeping lenses to just go around and try to clear the wards. Because if you're going to go ahead for Baron, you want to make sure that nobody else is near you. You want to make sure that nobody else can potentially come and steal Baron and then clean you up. So that's why they're trying to be cautious here and trying to make sure that they don't throw.
Yeah, Pacific are really trying to bait out the Baron. They cleared out the ward there, and Wargods not falling for it just yet. You can see they're being very methodical and careful about how they play this. A ward being placed down, a big ward in the bush. Poisson gets caught by the Dark Binding and of course the pit. 5-2-8-3 trying to clear out that pink ward of Team Wargods here. So, like you said, it's a Baron bait basically. They're trying to pick up a fight here near the Baron pit area, and both teams decide to disengage from that area.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just going to be a huge Mexican standoff between both teams. Because they want to bait each other right now, and none of them are really falling for it. So they're just having some difficulties really just securing that vision to make sure that nobody else is around them, and just look for that right time to go for Baron.
Alright, Poisanity finally picks out, clears out the wards behind the Baron and lands one inside as well. Both teams really having a vision war right now. You can see here Lulu at the bottom lane trying to shove the minions towards the tower here, while Ochi is in the top lane. You can hear 5-2-8-3 is in the Baron pit, receiving a lot of damage from the Baron. Once again, you've seen this happen a while ago. Stronger actually activating Baron to get aggressive.
Yeah, that's what they usually do actually. An interesting play that most teams have done is that when the opposing team when someone escapes towards Baron, what they do is they just look for use a skill shot to hit Baron, because that triggers a Baron aggro, and Baron does a lot of damage towards any character really. So when they've done that, they've actually secured a few kills. Just a pro tip to anybody: if your opponent is flashed towards the Baron pit and he's low, just try to trigger Baron aggro, because usually Baron will just kill that opponent for you, and that gives you a kill.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so back into the game here. You can see Wargods playing very cautiously still. I feel like this was one of the mistakes they had a while ago. They were playing very cautiously until a certain point they went in for a very aggressive move. JSC getting slowed by the Glitter Lance. You can see even with his lightning speed, he wasn't able to really move very fast.
Yeah, and right now I think that both teams are just really trying to secure this Baron, and I think it's going to be a little bit of I think that if either team wins an engage right now, either team wins the team clash, they're just gonna go straight for that Baron. So it'll really depend who wins this next team fight.
Yeah, and for those people who haven't played Serath actually has been retooled. There's been some players who forget about Serath. He's been retooled already, and his skills are a little bit different from his original kit. Ooh, Dragon! First Dragon for Team Pacific. Finally responding to all those dragons that Wargods have been claiming. Wargods already picking up 3 dragons. This will be the first for Team Team Pacific, and Pacific are so far from Baron that Wargods may attempt to do a quick Baron here.
Yeah, and again, WG was wise to figure out that Pacific was going to recall after that. When they found out Pacific was going to recall, they just immediately went straight to Baron. But then again, Pacific is cautious of this, so they go ahead and try to counter this Baron. So again, this is going to be like a really long waiting for both teams. They want to know who's going to engage first, because it's really going to be critical. This next team fight is going to decide who gets Baron and potentially who wins the game.
Ooh, 580 finally getting caught. Wild Growth being used in 580. He still survives by taking full damage from the calling here. Hongchu does pick up the kill with, I believe, a gold card there. So that's one kill down for Wargods. They have to be very careful not to get picked up here. Hongchu using his Zoni's Argus to escape. JSC getting caught by Dark by the usage is oh, and a nice return kill from JSC. Still being chased up by Shotty and Mystery. I think he'll probably go down. Dark Binding missing for 580 and then a slow. Wow, JSC taking up a lot of skills there just to escape.
Really good frosting flame follow up by Morgana there. After she missed her Dark Binding, she just immediately went for that frosting flame. And when she hit it, that was allowed them to secure the kill on JLC. But I don't think they should have just followed up with JLC that much. I think they just chased him too much, while they should have just been able to just secure the rest of the team who were also low. So I don't think it was the right decision to go chase JLC. And we have another pause.
Yeah, another pause again. I'm not really sure what's happening right now. But looking at the standing right now, you can see that Pacific did win again. This is basically the second big fight that Pacific won in the last few minutes. And they're starting to pull slightly ahead over Team Pacific. It's about a 2.5k gold advantage for Team Pacific. They're also in lead in terms of kills with about 6 kill advantage. 1 tower advantage as well, 4 towers to 3. Looks like JSC may have got disconnected, but he has reconnected right away. So probably some unstable internet connection issues once again.
Again, WG probably hasn't gotten their internet connection sorted yet, so they want to make sure that they just stop. If you disconnect during a team fight, I mean that's gonna be a huge problem. Because if you disconnect during a team fight, suddenly you give your opponents time to think about what to do next. And if you disconnect during that team fight, I mean, it just puts so many variables in the game that you don't want in it.
Alright, looks like the blue buff will be given again over to Stronger here. Poisonity attacking up the blue golem for him. He should be able to pick it up quite quickly here. Yes, there we go. Blue buff once again on Stronger now. I expect now 32 minutes in the game. Nobody has picked up Baron just yet, but most likely we're going to see another Baron dance here between Team Pacific and Team Wargods.
I think both teams are trying to be really cautious here because this Baron is going to be very, very important. The teams right now are relatively close in terms of gold lead. It's only the 4k gold advantage. Really good engage by Morgana there. Unfortunately, he gets away from the soul shackles, but since both teams are so close in terms of gold advantage and in terms of items, team fights are really going to be quite big in terms of who's going to win. So you don't want to take that risk of engaging a team fight and not really have that lead. Because if you have the lead, of course you want to go and get to the team fights and win it because you have that item advantage. But since none of the team really has a significant item advantage, you're just trying to be cautious here. And whoever wins that Baron buff is going to be so important. Because if you get that Baron buff, that's just a huge boost to your team fighting abilities.
Yeah, and actually quite likely, if ever, whoever at this point in the game, with the game being so close, Baron buff could probably spell the game for either team.
Yeah, I actually think that this game is so close that just one missed team fight, if you lose a team fight, that's it. Because if you lose a team fight, suddenly the opposing team can go and just secure Baron. And if you secure Baron, suddenly you can push any of the turrets, any of the inhibitors, and if you secure an inhibitor, I think that's GG for either team.
Yeah, actually looking at the items of both the leading carriers, you can see they're quite farmed already. They will be able to take down either Baron or the towers quite quickly, depending on how the team fights turn out.
But I actually think that Lucian definitely has a huge lead over Kog'Maw, just because of how built he is right now. So he has a static shield, he has an IE, and he has a Last Whisper. That Last Whisper would really allow him to shred through the arm of the opposing team. So I think right now Lucian wants to make sure that he can engage and eliminate that Kog'Maw right away, because Kog'Maw deals a lot of damage over time. So if you're Lucian and you have your heal available, all you want to do is dash towards Kog'Maw, just get your full combo on him, delete Kog'Maw, and suddenly your team is going so much better because the opposing team doesn't have their main damage dealer anymore.
Yeah, Lucian finally picking up a Negatron cloak. There is a lot of damage coming from Trevor and Stronger as well, including Ochi on the Kog'Maw. Does deal some magic damage through percent damage with his skills, and blue buff started by Wargods. I don't really know what they were thinking there, but they decided to go ahead and try to push the top lane. But this is actually really bad because right now you can see here that Pacific are down, trying to push down the middle lane. They don't have any minions, but Gragas might be tanky enough to tank a few hits coming from that tower.
So right now, again, we're having another Baron dance. So I think both teams right now picking up on that Baron dance, and now they're just trying to push. And again, JLC, when he splits from his team and pushes an individual lane, is so strong. He's able to actually secure a turret for you. So
yeah, 5 to 18 there, getting caught out of position here. Perfect synergy coming from the members of Team Pacific. Ooh, they're landing on Synergy here. Boy Sanity tanking all the damage from the Culling here. Probably will go down. Ooh, he uses his active ability on his face of the mountain, allowing him to survive that. Shotty using his Wargods just to escape. Finally, a cocoon landing on the Shotty and will pick up a kill for himself. And a double kill. Ooh, nice drawn Hourglass here, but he will definitely go down. This is a huge win for Wargods. Almost acing the entire team of Pacific, and they do have minions. They'll probably push this tower and inhibitor before going back to base.
Really great team from the Wargods team. That was like one of the most critical teams at the game so far. Because right now Wargods secured an inhibitor, and right now they've taken out an inhibitor, and the Supermans will come and just push this lane really hard.
Yeah,
now push mid lane really hard, and now they can go for Baron.
Yeah, this is actually going to be a very big Baron fight since like right now Gragas will be up in about 2 seconds there. He's ready up. He can actually, he has high mobility boots right now, escaping out of the base. He may attempt a Baron steal. It's very dangerous for them. This could be a do or die for them right now. If they get caught out here by the members of Team Pacific here, they could turn around in their favor. Dark Bandit landing on Ochi. They've changed focus fire onto the members of Team Pacific. Pacific 5 to 3, 8, 3 just stop moving there, and Mo gets killed by the Serath. And Baron Nash finally goes down to Wargods. Another victory for Team Wargods. First Baron of the game, and they also picked up the first tower, first base turret and inhibitor as well. So at this point in time, the gold shift has shifted over to Team Wargods once again, and they have a huge advantage over Team Pacific. They can possibly end this game right now.
That was very odd for 5 to 18 to just stop moving in the middle of a fight, because I definitely thought 5 to 18 could have gotten away with that, no problem. Thought we could have escaped that, but you just stopped moving suddenly, and I didn't get that. But right now, what Pacific needs to do is they just have to start playing this one more safely. Because WC right now, especially with their Baron buff, they can just start pushing and trying to siege towers. They've already completed some of their items. Now they can just push, look for a team fight, and they're probably just going to win the team fight because of the Baron buff.
Yeah, Shotty here trying to escape Poseidon. Poseidon lands the Zenith. Kog'Maw will be joining the party here. Solar Flare landing the Shotty. Shotty will get eliminated by Wargods Ochi here. Trevor's Banshee's Veil actually catching that first kill coming from Pacific. The rest of Wargods following up. Ooh, Gragas pushing back JSC. There's no point fighting under the third. Very dangerous position. Trevor does pick up the kill though, and also pick up a double kill this time around. BYY running away. Ultimate coming from ooh, and that last shot coming from the Zerath picking up the kill. That rage is just humongous.
Strong is just able to snipe down Lucian right there. Again, that's just how powerful Zerath is when it comes to ultimate. His ultimate has such great range. He's just able to secure kills that normally would be out of reach. But again, Stronger is able to show his mechanics with that is solid. And he's able to secure that Lucian.
Yeah, this might be game right now. Only Hongyu alive right now gets decimated by the members of Wargods. Final tower, and yes, the inhibitor Nexus as well. GG, well played for Team Wargods, and an ace just to end the match. Alright, so great match coming from both Pacific and Wargods. Both teams picking up one victory each, so that leaves Pacific with only 1 point still, so they still have a long way to catch up. Of course, Pacific Team Wargods now having a total of, I believe, 4 points and 4 wins, 4 games in total. I'm sorry, yes, 4 games and 4 points in total, while Team Pacific will only retain with 1 point and with a total, I believe, of 6 games. Alright, so let's take a look at the match stats before anything else. I'd have to say Trevor probably would be one of the best players in this game for Team Wargods. He picked up a lot of kills for his team, had a lot of nice mechanical plays, and because of his play, although he had one really bad play where he was just standing clearing out the war, which was very reckless of him,
very uncharacteristic,
he was able to get back into the game and really make nice impact plays for them.
Yeah, I think it definitely has to be the Trevor here. I think he's the MVP by far because of how, I mean, mechanically he was just so solid this game, and I mean, it's really such a turnaround from how he was with Lee Sin. I mean, we see with Lee Sin, mechanically he wasn't always solid, but with Elise, he's just so solid with repels and making those plays. And I definitely do think that was a team effort though. It was a team effort that allowed them to secure this victory. Because that team fight, that team clash before Baron, before WG's able to secure Baron, was the most important one. And that really allowed us to win the game.
Alright, so congratulations to Team Wargods for picking up their third victory in the PGS. So that, like I said, basically, like, let them climb up the ladder. Definitely much better than having a 2-loss here. So 1 win apiece for both Pacific and Team Wargods. So each team will receive 1 point. So before the night is over, of course, we did promise to answer any of your questions a while ago. So for any questions that we weren't able to answer a while ago, go ahead and post your questions on the Twitch chat. We will be reading it out and answering your questions to the best possible way we can. Alright, so of course, a few more reminders before anything else. I'd like to thank again our sponsors, of course, Smart, GameX as well, of course, Philips for our monitors, and of course, Razer for our gaming peripherals, headset, mouse, keyboard, and of course our mouse pad. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank our Trippy Customs for my jacket. And of course, thank you to all our moderators, Chin Marcos and of course Job Serenity for moderating our chat very well.
And again, thank you viewers again for watching these games.
Yes, thank you of course to our viewers for watching. We really appreciate everybody who tunes in to watch these PGS matches. Don't forget to vote for your teams in the Philippine forums for League of Legends.
And don't forget to pick up your Rampage tickets as well.
Alright, so one of the questions I see here right now, Kuya Jay, paano mo pataasin ang FPS mo sa Windows 7? Now, tips for FPS. Now, definitely need to have a good video card, but best thing you can do is probably lower your graphics to the lowest possible settings if your FPS or if your video card can't handle League of Legends that well. Make sure you also close all applications, including your web browsers. A lot of players actually have their web browsers open for Facebook games, and this definitely deteriorates your FPS.
Yeah, definitely Chrome. Chrome is such a huge power hog. So if Chrome open with YouTube, for example, your FPS is gonna go down. So if you have a browser open, just make sure you close that off.
Yeah.
And make sure that League of Legends is the only application running, and that definitely will help your FPS.
Yeah. Anything that requires video, like if you're watching a movie on maybe a on Windows Media Player or any video application, make sure you close that, including your web browsers, of course, as well. If you have other games running as well, you might want to close it as well. That probably will help your FPS climb up better. And of course, like I said, lower your graphic settings in the settings of League of Legends.
Yeah, and for kailan next game? Next game is tomorrow, actually. There's a game between Wargods and Diamond tomorrow, so definitely stay tuned for that.
Alright, somebody's asking, what's your favorite pro gamer worldwide? How about you? Who's your favorite player worldwide?
I'd love to say Mad Life, but it's not actually Mad Life. It has to be Double Lift. I just love watching Double Lift play.
I thought you were Mad Life.
I am actually Mad Life. I'm like the impoverished Filipino version of Mad Life, so there's that. But it definitely has to be Double Lift. I mean, I love watching his mechanics. He just has his mechanics are just perfect. I mean, if you've seen him play Vayne, it's just beautiful. And I just really love seeing Double Lift. I love his whole persona, and I love watching his stream as well. So it has to be Double Lift.
For me, actually, I have huge respect for EG Snoopy. He's not really the best mechanical player out there, but he's definitely one of the fan favorites because he's very nice. And also, but for terms of skills, I have to give it to Froggen. I love his Anivia plays. Even his other champions are very proficient, and I love how he plays mid lane for Alliance right now.
Because I love seeing Froggen and his reads. I mean, when you see him play Anivia, it's not about the mechanics, it's about the reads. When you can see him, he just reads his opponent like a book. And suddenly, his skill shots aim to the left, suddenly his opponent goes to the left and catches the skill shots for him. And that's just why it's such a wonder to see Froggen.
Psychic powers.
The psychic powers, beautiful.
Yeah. Alright, what else? Let's see here. Next game, of course, again, we answered that a while ago. There will be games tomorrow. We will start at 5 PM again, of course, between Wargods and Team Diamond's back-to-back matches between them. Of course, Diamond are on their final matches. Wargods still have a long way to go. We'll have to see how that plays out. Really excited to see what will happen with that game. And for those who just tuned in and you missed all the action, it was actually one win apiece between Pacific and Wargods, so both teams picked up one win.
Yeah, and to answer another question of how do you record, I mean, Kuya Jay, pag nagre-record pa pag nagda-drop FPS, bibili ako ng software ng pang-record eh. So,
yes, actually, that's yes.
True. Because if you use, for example, Fraps, I'm very experienced with using Fraps, and it does lag so hard. So if you're using Fraps to record League of Legends, for example, it's gonna lag, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Again, of course, you can try to lower the try to lower the frame rate of Fraps, try to lower the graphic settings of LoL, and try to close other applications. But if your computer can't handle fraps in League, there's not really much you can do about it. You just have to upgrade your computer.
That's right. Alright, so someone's asking why is it 1.5k IP for the new icon. I'm really sorry, but I don't have any answer to that. It's decided by Riot, of course, who dictates the pricing here. And of course, we try to lower it as much as possible here in the Philippines. But of course, whatever is approved by Riot Games, that will be the final price that will appear in the shop. So every time a price drop happens in the in-game shop, is of course done by us. But of course, we need the approval of Riot Games for it to go through.
And High Stripe 9094, can you play LoL in PH in Canada? Unfortunately not, because again we're IP specific, so you can only play LoL PH if you're in the Philippines. So unfortunately, if you're abroad, you can't play LoL PH.
Yeah, of course some people have some way around it, but of course we do not.
We don't endorse.
Yeah,
we
do
don't
not
endorse those ways. So there are ways around it though. And mechanics for scoring the PGS.
Yeah, alright, so basically each team gets to play 2 matches consecutively against the same team. If you win both games against the same team, you get a total of 3 points. But if you get both split a win like today, each team receives 1 point. And of course, the losing team who doesn't pick up any victories don't receive any points for their games.
Okay, and hi Barry1322 and 0 Hour Internet Cafe. Hi guys, and yeah, shout out. So they just asked for a greet.
Yeah, alright, thank you again also to all our viewers. I think that should be about it for today. We'll answer other questions from next time around. Again, I'd like to thank all our viewers for watching. Don't forget, tomorrow we will resume again at 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. between Diamond and Wargods. Don't forget also to vote for your favorite all-star players in the LOL forums. Tickets will be sold again this week. There won't be any ticket selling tomorrow in the Garena office, just so you guys know. So please don't come here and look for tickets, because there won't be anybody here to sell any tickets. There will be ticket selling again from Monday to Saturday. It will be the final week of ticket selling in the office. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, thank you to everybody. Thank you to all our viewers. Thank you to our moderators, Jobster19, Chin Marcus, and of course all our GMs here. Thank you, Emrake and team, for joining me again tonight. And do you have any last words before we go?
Yeah, if you want to check out some of my content, again, I'm plugging myself, but you can either go to twitch.tv/MrRakenTV if you want to check out my stream, which I do sometimes, or if you want to check out my YouTube, it's youtube.com/users/MrRakenTV. So just shout out to any viewers out there.
Alright, so 19 Fetonist68, hello to you. Anybody else? Oh, of course, I'd like to say hello to Dave and to GG Spear, wherever you are. I know you are out there somewhere close by. Thank you for, we really miss you guys wherever you are right now. And yeah, that's about it. So alright, so good night to everybody, and we'll see you next week.